Let's explore meditation drowsiness for beginners. This morning's lesson is drawn from a good-hearted question found on Reddit. It begins, I keep falling asleep while meditating, and then elaborates. I do 10 to 15 minute focus meditation using a backflow incense burner every morning before getting ready for work, and every evening before going to bed. So there's a lot to explore here. Well, let's continue, and we'll double back. An issue I've been having lately is fighting off the feeling of dozing off while I meditate. I'm not sure if it's because I've been doing this routine for so long, about 2 months, that my mind has gotten bored with the same old, and I should switch it up and do a different type of meditation. Breathing mantra, etc. Or if it's the early morning and late night hours of meditation, making it hard for me to fight sleep, and should adjust my session times. I personally don't want to do either of these, so is there anything else I can do to help? I've also noticed I usually don't feel so sleepy once the meditation session is over. Okay, so there's lots of things we can explore here, and I'm going to insult by annoying the hell out of the person asking the question, not maliciously, just out of due diligence. So, first things first. When we first start anything new, we get a hit of dopamine, and it's very exciting. It's supposed to be. It's not a character flaw. When we get used to something, we get less dopamine simply because one of the triggers of dopamine is the novel. Novel not meaning a book, but novel meaning the new. That, of course, reminds me of a story. I think it was with President Harding. I may be mistaken. Maybe it was Coolidge. But a president was on a tour of a farm, and the person giving the tour was saying how the male farm animal made love every night. And the first lady said to the person giving the tour, be sure to tell the president that. To which the president responded, yes, is it the same mate every night or a different one? Marital issues aside, there is a special power to the new. Fortunately, there is a workaround, especially for those of us who struggle with neurodivergence or such as ADHD, where dopamine is a huge issue. There are dopamine hacks we can use to make our life more manageable. Here are a handful. And we're going to start with the boring, then move towards the exciting. We'll start with the boring. Lifestyle choices. Getting enough quality sleep, fresh air, sunshine, exercise, and eating as high quality a diet as we can. We don't need to be wealthy to afford to eat well. You can shop at the dollar store, the 99-cent store, and still eat a whole food vegan diet that your body will absolutely thrive on. There are some wonderful channels on YouTube. There's some links in the description area below if you're curious about that. But for instance, I'm thinking, let's see, nutritionfacts.org. It's actually on YouTube. I'm thinking about Mike the Vegan, spelled M-I-C. I'm thinking about, Derek Sarno. If you like food porn, that's the channel for you. So those are wonderful things you can do. So if you're waking up tired and you can't adjust your schedule and you can't get more sleep and you can't adjust any other variables, then there's things you can do to make the most of it. For instance, cold water on your face will wake you up. A tall glass of cold water can be very, very bracing. Calisthenics can give you a hit or a splash of dopamine. During today's live stream, we're going to take our hour's worth of practice and divide it into quarters. Begin each quarter with 7 Tibetan-style squat thrusts that they refer to as Buddha bowing or prostration. I don't use the word prostration because it sounds like a medical exam. My cousin told me that many years ago after my first or second 3-year retreat. I was sharing with my cousin how excited I was with using Tibetan prostrations as a replacement for squat thrusts, and he said, "Oh no, that sounds like prostate and an uncomfortable experience." My cousin is delightfully neurotic. I'm not going to say he's neurotic, but he makes me look mellow. I'm pretty sure he's not watching this. If not, I'm in trouble. He's a Taekwondo master. I am a paperweight. So let's continue. So yes, trying new things can be a source of dopamine, but as Pema Chodron warns, always hopping to a new technique while exciting will undermine our spiritual growth, can undermine our spiritual growth in the long term. It's better to find stuff that works and persist with stuff that works. That doesn't mean we can't experiment, but we experiment with a purpose or with the intention of finding stuff that works better, not just getting excited. And that's why we use the hacks. So, quick review. It's lifestyle choices. Those are a hack. Cold water externally, that's a hack. Cold water internally, that's also a hack. And of course, incorporating light calisthenics such as Tibetan-style Buddha bowing, that is a hack. In the late Chagdud Tulku Rinpoche told a tale of a Tibetan nun who built her entire spiritual practice around bowing and sitting. And she was very happy. She had what he considered to be a very successful spiritual practice. So another issue is this. Now let's get to the body mechanics. Closing our eyes can help us fall asleep. With your eyes open and gazing down can help us fall asleep. When we rest our hands in our lap, if our thumbs touch, that can excite a energetic pathway right in the region of the navel, which can make us drowsy. So a simple solution is to not touch the thumbs in the lap. And I think I've got a picture illustrating that. Yes, so it's not really there. Bummer. So in this picture, I'm not sure if you can see, the thumbs are not touching. They're just... I'll show you right now on camera. How's that sound? So what I'm going to do is tap button, I think it's 4. Yes, it's button 4. I shall adjust the camera. Okay, so if your thumbs are touching, they'll be at the level of the navel, and that could make you drowsy. So simply rest your thumbs in a neutral position. Just relax them. Not touching them can really, really help. Now, there are some meditation teachers who are super rigid. They say things like you must use a zafu, you must sit in the lotus posture, you must have this exact posture with this foot over that foot and this hand over that hand, being super, 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 super rigid. Yeah, these guys won't enjoy the advice I'm giving you. Here's an additional piece of advice you might enjoy. Let me go back to button number 5 and find another photograph of a Buddha statue. So in this Buddha statue, we see the Buddha sitting erect. Insert titillating laughter here. So, every time we breathe in, we are neurologically optimized to generate a gentle traction between our head and our tush. Every time we exhale, we are wired to release that traction gently, subtly. So, sitting impeccably with eyes open and eyes straight ahead can help us to be more alert. Similarly, in the Tibetan tradition, it is sometimes advised that if you feel drowsy, to either gaze up into the sky gently. You don't get extra points for muscle strain. And to facilitate this, some people will sharply utter the syllable pay, P-E-Y. And some people will really get enthusiastic, and while they're shouting the syllable pay, they will raise their hands overhead like they're Arnold Horshack on Welcome Back, Kotter, and snap their fingers. That can be quite stimulating. There are some who interpret this as a major meditation practice. Please don't use it as an antidote to noticing things. It's good to notice things. We'll explore that in a few minutes. But it can be an excellent antidote for drowsiness. Let's continue with the original array of questions. So here's another thing. Make subtle adjustments. So it's great you're meditating twice a day. That's splendid. If you could increase the length of time between waking up and making your way to your meditation cushion, that could help. Some people are energized if they have a snack. Some people are drowsy if they have a snack. So those are subtle variables you'll want to explore. Some people are energized after taking a showering and shaving. Some people are fatigued by that. So make adjustments accordingly. If you're going to meditate in the morning, search for the point in your schedule that you're most intellectually and physically stimulated. That's what you want at this point in your life. Same thing within the evening. It's great meditating in the evening. Try to meditate closer to your return from home and further away from your time before bed. The closer we are to bed, the more drowsy we're going to be, simply because of operant conditioning. So there are some who would say that if you're less sleepy after the meditation, it's just an aversion strategy, and because it's psychosomatic. I'm not a fan of the superstition of psychosomatism. I would say that meditating can be a form of power nap, where by having a sedate posture, your body can feel like it's a micro nap. And this brings us to our last point. There are many variables when it comes to meditation. And not all meditations are created equal. If we use the wrong style of meditation, it's going to be needlessly and unproductively neurologically taxing. And that could induce drowsiness too. So what I'd like to do is give you some tips, some pro tips, if that's okay. I'm going to start with something a trifle pessimistic and then work my way towards the positive, if that's okay with you. Sturgeon's law reminds us that 90% of everything sucks, but not in the fun, tingly way. This is elaborated when we consider the 81 poems, Lao Tzu's 81 poems of the Tao Te Ching. In it, we learn about yin and yang, and that it's best to avoid yang and always choose yin. In Buddhism, we replace the word yin with Gautama, and we replace the word yang with Devadatta. So the Buddha's foolish cousin Devadatta thought it would be splendid to be rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel, especially rigid and controlling. The Buddha was the opposite. He felt it was brilliant to be flexible, loving, rational, laid back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind, especially flexible and laid back. So these worldviews are often reflected in our contemplative strategies. Let's take a moment to consider this artist's interpretation of a side view of the human brain, this being the forehead right here. There are the majority of meditation authors and meditation teachers implore their students to practice active concentration and active analysis. Unfortunately, the only way to do that is to utilize specific structures, such as the medial prefrontal cortex and the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. Now, the prefrontal cortex gets a bad rap. This thing is a useful tool. If you got to sort or analyze or compare or contrast or do math or do editing, hey, this thing is awesome. Ask a personal trainer. They'll tell you, it doesn't matter how beautiful a muscle is, if you overtrain it, you're going to court injury. Similarly, the more we overuse our prefrontal cortex, according to fMRI studies, functional magnetic resonance imaging studies, it will cause our amygdala to light up like a Christmas tree. Our amygdala is the seat of both anxiety and aggression. If we persist in overtraining or overworking our prefrontal cortex, we will begin to present with the symptoms of depression. This whole Megillah is fatiguing. Now for some good news. Every time, we'll begin with mindfulness. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, whether we feel it or not, we are accessing our sympathetic nervous system, which is, one moment, let's see here, which is ensconced within the middle third of our spinal cord. This bad boy has evolved to support our perception, helping us to perceive in a manner that is vulnerable, passive, visceral, and random. So already we see that the style in which it's helping us to practice is less yang and more yin, less Devadatta and more Gautama, less rigid and controlling, more flexible and laid back. So here's the cool thing. The seat of rigidity or flexibility is less psychological and more physiological. What if rigidity or flexibility were simply psychological symptoms of physiological states? This is huge. I don't know if you're as old as me, but I was born in the 60s, and for the majority of my life, a bunch of pinheads have been strutting about the countryside proclaiming that everything is because of your belief system. Well, it turns out that's called medical gaslighting, and it's grossly incorrect. The state-of-the-art medicine reveals that the majority of psychological symptoms are rooted in physiological states. That's super important to keep in mind, especially if you're prone to beating yourself up. So, as we inhale, we access the sympathetic nervous system, which helps us to perceive vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. For example, we notice sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, and the like. We also notice emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. We're not robots, we're not digital, we're squishy things, we're analog, and so we perceive spectrums. Everything from the external to the internal, from the physical to the mental, from the pleasurable to the painful, from the interesting to the boring, from the glorious to the grotesque. And so, yes, Virginia, this could be overwhelming. Now for some good news. Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we access our parasympathetic nervous system. It's ensconced within the lower third and upper third of that same spinal cord. This bad boy has evolved to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release. So, you might say, well, that sounds like it'll make me fall asleep. It might, or it might make you release the tension that is fatiguing you. It might help you release that heavy weight on your shoulders, metaphorically speaking. Now, here's an additional bonus. Those same fMRI studies demonstrate that switching gears from an over-reliance on our prefrontal cortex to a healthy reliance on both facets of our autonomic nervous system not only dims our amygdala, but lights up this thing, this weird thing right here that kind of looks like a baseball mitt, that kind of looks like the letter C, I guess. The big kids call it the anterior cingulate gyrus. It functions as the hub of our mirror neurons, the seat of empathy and compassion and love. This is why the greatest Dzogchen Lamas of Tibet have insisted that the highest love is spontaneous and uncontrived. Furthermore, 50% of the Buddha's Eightfold Path pertains to loving kindness as it is applied to the intellect, to the interpersonal, to the physical, and the circumstantial. The second, third, fourth, and fifth folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. The sixth fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path can be described as the effortless effort that flows from love-centered spontaneity. When our choices, utterances, and deeds flow from this effortless effort of love-centered spontaneity, that is the fringe benefit of mindfulness and meditation, we're going to make better choices viscerally, intuitively, without ruminating on them. We will just flow. Finally, because of the nature of mindfulness and meditation, when set upon our when coordinated with our inhalation and our exhalation and our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems, we can help but notice change. Change in sights, change in sounds, change in sensations, change in flavors, change in scents, and the like. Changes in emotions, changes in intentions, changes in thoughts, changes in that which we recall, changes in that which we remember. The first fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path is a right view of reality. The view of reality that says, ever-changing, one and all, there is nothing permanent to grasp. The entirety of the Eightfold Path takes care of itself if we simply practice mindfulness and meditation. Now, there's an obstacle, and that obstacle reduces down to one word: Urkel. Our brain is can be as scattered as Urkel. Knocking into shit and asking, can I do that? Here's the cool thing. Totally cool. When we silently, mentally, and passively recite the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, it makes it much easier for our brain to cooperate with our sympathetic nervous system. And when we silently, mentally, and passively recite the one-syllable verb ease during our exhalation, it makes it so much easier for our brain to cooperate with our parasympathetic nervous system. And so the moronically simple technique, silently and mentally and passively reciting this and ease in harmony with our inhalation and exhalation, makes possible the perception and release of mindfulness and meditation. I hope this helps. And I look forward to practicing with you together as a team. Let me find the right page, which makes editing so much easier. So I look forward to practicing with you as a team after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I spent about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each sect of Buddhism, so that you would not have to. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. Whoops, wrong button. Let's try that again. So let's begin by setting a very positive intention, a loving intention, by chanting love and letting go's wishes for universal enlightenment and well-being. Please chant with me. May all minds of all beings lucid yet void now be as peacefully enlightened as a Buddha's mind symbolized by a one-syllable by a... Let's try this again. I got confused. May all minds of all beings lucid yet void now be as peacefully enlightened as our Buddha's mind symbolized by a one-syllable bija. May all speech of all minds resounding yet void no be as joyfully loving as a Buddha's speech symbolized by mantra. May all forms of all beings sensual yet void no be as beautifully healthy as a Yadamok type depicted in Buddhist statuary. May all lots of all beings appearing yet void no be as safely fortunate as a pure land of love represented in Buddhist paintings. And now let us perform a chant in preparation for Buddha bowing. In our compassion may we long to free all beings from the toxic tyranny of ever, hating, craving, and clinging, metaphorically known as the three mental poisons. One moment, if you please. Okay, so and again, I need a moment to edit. Please bear with me. Okay. Okay, well, thank you for your patience. Let's dig in. In our compassion, may we long to free all beings from the toxic tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging, metaphorically known as the three mental poisons. In our pragmatism, may our liberation of all others be fueled by our dependence on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students, described by the metaphor of the three wish-fulfilling jewels. And at last, we can actually meditate. If you want to, you can simply recite the essence of all we just chanted. May we free all through the three jewels. Or if you feel adventurous, you can recite it while bowing with me together as a form of calisthenics to release a splash of dopamine. May we? Oops, I forgot to put my hair up. May we free all through the three jewels. May we free all through the three jewels. May we free all jewels, may we free all through the 3 jewels. May we free all through the 3 jewels. Well, that was invigorating. for a second splash of dopamine. In our compassion may we long to free all beings from the toxic tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging, metaphorically known as the three mental poisons. In our pragmatism may our liberation of all others be fueled by our dependence on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students, described by the metaphor of the three wish-fulfilling jewels. May we free all through the three 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 jewels. And now for a splash of dopamine. In our compassion may we long to free all beings from the toxic tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging, metaphorically known as the three mental poisons. In our pragmatism may all liberation of all others be fueled by our dependence on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students, described by the metaphor of the three wish-fulfilling jewels. May we free all through the three 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 jewels. Oh, let's see. May we free all through the three jewels. In our compassion, may we long to free all beings from the toxic tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging, metaphorically known as the three mental poisons. In our pragmatism, may our liberation from all others be fueled by our dependence on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students, described by the metaphor of the three wish-fulfilling jewels. May we free all through the three 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 jewels. Let us seal this morning's practice by chanting Love and Letting Go's wishes for universal enlightenment and well-being. May all minds of all beings lucid yet void no be as peacefully enlightened as a Buddha's mind symbolized by a one suitable bija. May all speech of all beings resounding yet void no be as joyfully loving as a Buddha's speech symbolized by mantra. May all forms of all beings sensual yet void no be as beautifully healthy as a yet mark type depicted in Buddha statuary. May all lots of all beings appearing yet void no be as safely fortunate as a pure land of lore represented in Buddhist paintings. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 10.5 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's evening meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.